With that, we're shifting our focus. We are getting a CNN News 18 mega exclusive news break while we are learning that Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan has begun its protest in Pakistan, and the police are cracking down on the protest with the use of live ammunition, also shelling and alleged acid attacks. This suggests panic and a loss of command. The hierarchy showing that the civil-military disconnect is pretty much there. Internet services have been suspended in key zones like Islamabad, Rawalpindi, and this reveals that authorities fear coordinated mobilization. Top intel sources have also informed Army's action against TLP that is eventually going to backfire, and this is going to be dangerous for the internal security of Pakistan. So Pakistan is in a mess, and now there is protest by the TLP, something that the government earlier used to support. These are extreme far right-wing organizations that has seen a lot of support by the army, and now situation continues to be haywire. The situation is completely turned, and there is a clamping down on these protests that are now being reported from Pakistan. And it's not just a clampdown by the police. What we are learning of is the use of live ammo, shelling, and alleged acid attack. That's how serious this gets. My colleague Anand Narsimhan will help us break down this better. Anand, what is happening in Pakistan? TLP, the government was sort of supportive of them, and now tables seem to have turned. Why?
The Tehreek-e-Labbaik is actually largely a Barelvi sect, and this was started to try and break the Barelvi support for Nawaz Sharif. And this was again a machination of the ISI way back in about 2017, 2018, and when they started taking up to the streets. Now they ended up backing the PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, against Nawaz Sharif and the PMLN, and that support base was eroded. But the Tehreek-e-Labbaik has been quite active in Pakistan despite the fall of Imran Khan. They actually protested even during Imran Khan's tenure, and they were quite active and quite aggressive on the streets. Now, this was an anti-America, pro-Palestine, protest that was conducted on ground, because a lot of people on ground in Pakistan believe that, the Gaza and Palestinians have got the short end or the wrong end of the stick in this entire deal that's been tom-tom. And that's why there was advisory by the Americans, Chinese, asking their locals who are operating there even to stay within the embassy and not to move around. And there was high alert there. But look at what's happening. The crackdown and the situation in Pakistan is such that people who are supposed to be strong support base and who are coming out and organizing a protest are being quelled. Islamabad, Rawalpindi, and in these areas, internet has been shut down. So the army and the police are actually stretched at all ends, because from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, POJK, and then into now Islamabad, Rawalpindi, then further down in Sindh and also in Balochistan, there are protests on every corner. And for one reason or the other, people are taking to the streets and things are getting out of hand. In fact, there are people who are making videos, and if you hear the audio, they are saying that it is acid-laced shells, tear gas shells, that are being thrown at the people. So clearly there is very, very strong arm action that has been undertaken on protests, which within an Islamic nation, that is Pakistan, which actually had stood and said, we are with the Palestinian people and we are going to be the beacon of the Muslim world, etc. They are quelling protests which are actually supposed to be pro-Palestine. So it's quite ironical what we are witnessing on ground. But it just shows that public anger is right there on the boiling point, and Pakistan is perhaps on the cusp of a tipping point here, given the kind of protests that we are seeing day in and day out across the length and breadth of the country.
But a coordinated mobilization is what the authorities are fearing. That's what this piece of information is also revealing for us, Anand. What is it that they are looking at? Because like you rightly mentioned, these are pro-Palestinian protests, and yet there is a clampdown. We have seen what Pakistan's position has been vis-a-vis Palestine. Then why this?
Interestingly, see, the Tehreek-e-Labbaik was the group which started shouting Sar Tan Se Juda. And it was the same ones whose supporters were the ones who butchered an innocent tailor in Udaipur. And the whole Sar Tan Se Juda spillover happened because of this. So there is a sectarian rivalry of dominance between the Deobandis and the Barelvis. But in this case, they are also really, really radicalized. And the people and authorities in Pakistan are worried that this could lead to a massive chakka jam and a military conundrum because the last time around the Tehreek-e-Labbaik took to the streets. Islamabad was blockaded with containers. Rawalpindi was sealed off with containers being kept, and these people were trying to push through and barge through those containers along with the PTI. And then thereafter the Labbaik, once again Tehreek-e-Labbaik went out and took to the streets, and every time there is a huge blockade. That creates a huge security nightmare for the current military establishment, which is already battling the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Even today, there is a latest report says that 11 more Pak military people have been killed in these strikes where the Pakistan military is being targeted day in and day out. So the BLA is targeting them in Balochistan, TTP is targeting them in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, POJK again, ye jo dehshat gardi hai, iske piche vardi hai, is echoing and resonating all around. And if the TLP also are allowed to go ahead and march on to Islamabad and Rawalpindi, the Pakistan forces will not know where to fight their battles.